Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside Gaming. I guess it's Sunday.
It is Sunday, the day of our Lord.
Yeah. If you watched any Twitch over the holidays, probably noticed something a little unusual. The most watched game on there was not Fortnite.
Oh my God.
I know, it wasn't League of Legends.
What?
Yeah, or any other mainstay of that list of the biggest Twitch games. Yeah, instead it was a Russian-developed looter shooter survival MMO that's still in beta.
Yeah, that game is Escape From Tarkov, and if you've ever seen it, that may come as a surprise. The graphics are pretty dated, the inventory is huge and daunting, and it looks suspiciously similar to games like PUBG and Arma.
Yeah, we're not knocking the game. It just doesn't seem like something that was gonna take over the world, even if just for a weekend.
But before we get into the recent streaming success, let's talk about the game for a minute. Upon first glance, the game looks very intimidating.
Yeah.
The inventory system looks more like an MMO than your typical competitive FPS, and at any point another player can kill you and steal all your hard-earned loot, just like these streets, boy.
Just figuring out how loot and inventory management works is kind of a feat in and of itself. The game is also notorious for its high level of realism. The guns jam. Reloading actually takes time. You actually have to reload your clips while they're in the inventory. You can't just, they're not just like autofill or anything. It's got an interesting health system where, unlike most games, where you get shot actually matters. So if you get shot in the arm, you know you won't be able to aim as well.
What if you get shot in the dick?
If you get shot in the dick, you can't as good.
An ailment that you have to fix.
Getting shot in the leg slows you down, that kind of thing. So it's a level of realism that those super skilled players out there love.
Yeah, like me.
I am the ultimate gamer.
There's also an insane degree of customization available. Like I said earlier, you can put band-aids on your dick if you get shot there.
That's right.
You can basically dismantle or build guns from the ground up and swap out components.
I saw just a video of somebody dismantling a gun and it was like 15 different pieces came out. Yeah, so despite all the super deep mechanics and kind of high skill floor, the goals of the game are actually pretty simple. You collect loot and use that loot to make your character and base more powerful. The base upgrades are not just cosmetic. There's a workbench to craft your items, you got your stash, and you can build a Bitcoin farm in the game. Which at first I was like, oh, so it's malware that installs a Bitcoin farmer onto your actual PC.
Right.
I don't think that's what it is.
Okay.
This is an in-game Bitcoin farm. Once it comes out of beta, maybe they'll install that feature.
Yeah, the game doesn't have any microtransactions. Instead, there's a player economy.
We love that as gamers.
Oh God, it's so much. Instead, there's a player economy that allows you to buy, sell, or barter for items with other players in the marketplace.
Yeah, so kind of cool. Unlike most looter shooter MMO things, you can actually trade items with other people. Most importantly, you can set up a still to make moonshine. Yeah, we're all big fans of moonshine here.
Yeah.
Well, the art of making it, the practice of it.
Yeah, not actually getting
Craft.
faded.
No. So that's the absolute basics of how this game works, but why in the hell did it get so popular?
Well, Patrick, the easiest reason to point to is that for a few days you could get unique loot drops just from watching other people stream the game on Twitch. So you could, watch some e-girl, basically put her foot up on the desk and say naughty things to you, and you get free stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Your feet are stinky. I mean, she had to be playing the game.
Yeah.
You couldn't just watch any e-girl.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an excuse to watch an e-girl playing.
And buy her socks online afterwards.
Yeah, and her bathwater.
So it makes sense. If you give away free stuff, of course, people are gonna flock to your game. We don't really think it's that simple though, because to get to the amount of viewers they got to, there has to be some interest in the game already. No one's gonna care about free loot for a game they have no intention of playing.
Yeah. Also, big name streamers have been touting the game for a while now. It's earned high praise from Dr. Lupo Shroud and Dr. Disrespect, among others.
You don't watch a lot of Twitch, do you?
I mean, I'm aware of who Dr. Disrespect is.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good. The other two are also major streamers. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like the biggest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's even already spawned its own star in Twitch streamer, I think Pestily it's pronounced.
Pestily.
I don't know. Pestily, I'm guessing. He was kind of big beforehand. He was definitely the top Escape From Tarkov streamer, but he shot way up this over the holidays. So yeah, some of these
people. Is he an e-girl?
He's an e-girl. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, some of these people have been playing the game for a while now, but loot giveaways push their numbers through the stratosphere.
Yeah, needless to say, Escape From Tarkov has a lot of things going for it right now. Numbers have tapered off though since the event ended, but it's still firmly in the top tier of Twitch games.
Oh, can its success last, or is it just a flash in the pan? To figure that out, we should look at what makes for a great streaming game.
Two of the biggest streaming games of the last few years, obviously, have been PUBG and Fortnite. Both are big and I cannot stress this enough. Big multiplayer shooters. Huge. Like Escape from Tarkov, but more importantly, there's an extremely high level of tension. Watching someone sneaking around with just a few players left in a battle royale is really nerve-wracking, making for a big release when something finally happens.
Yeah, it's just fun to watch, and this is one reason why the genre is so successful to stream. It's not a battle royale, but Escape from Tarkov still very much fits kind of that mold. It goes a step further though by implementing real and lasting consequences in the game.
Yeah, if you die while playing as your main character, you literally lose everything you have on you. Not just the stuff you've looted in the game, but your equipment too. This high-risk gameplay ramps up the tension even higher than a battle royale game like Fortnite.
That tension makes for some super funny moments. Half the fun of watching a battle royale or Tarkov streamer is seeing them, scream in fear, surprise, losing their mind because somebody like comes out of nowhere and shoots them in the head. I've seen some videos of people like killing their entire squad by accident because they're just panicking and shooting everywhere. It's fun. Yeah, something about watching people die inside just warms gamer hearts everywhere.
Yeah, there's already a huge library of funny moments videos on YouTube for Escape from Tarkov, and Fortnite is essentially its own YouTube industry. They're just entertaining games to watch.
Another major reason for the battle royale genre's success is that they usually require a certain degree of skill to be really good at, or especially to win. You're not quite as likely to get super lucky and win a match or whatever when everyone is out to get you. To be successful at it requires a fairly in-depth knowledge of kind of every aspect of the game, the maps, the different guns and stuff.
The default dances and
the default,
how to floss. And,
how to dab on your haters. For battle royales, it's not that difficult. There's only one map. There's a limited number of guns and kind of mods for those guns or whatever. And there's no consequence for dying. You just start over again.
Yeah.
And you can jump into Fortnite and get a pretty good idea for kind of what the game is in just a few rounds, even if you kind of suck at it.
Yeah, this is probably Escape from Tarkov's biggest obstacle. Despite simple objectives, it's a very complex game. Lucky for them, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. There is room for more complex skill-based games on Twitch.
Yeah, you got games like Hearthstone, Path of Exile, League of Legends. They're pretty much always near the top of the most watched games, and those are games that really rely a lot more on the viewer base kind of already understanding the game.
Yeah.
Like if I were just to turn on a Fortnite stream, I could figure out what's happening. Very simple. Yeah. With those games, you're not as likely to understand what's happening if you just click into it.
Yeah.
Tarkov does kind of have an upper hand here, even though it is a very complicated game. It still looks like a very simple first-person shooter, so unless that streamer is doing some kind of crazy inventory management stuff, you can turn on a stream and more or less be able to follow what's happening.
Totally, and while you might think people like to watch games that they too have a certain amount of skill in, that isn't necessarily true. Last year, Super Mario Maker 2 proved to be a huge game for streaming, and a lot of those views came from people like us who are definitely not speedrunning insane Kaizo levels every night.
Speak for yourself. I personally have no interest in attempting some of those insane levels I've seen, but I love watching other people play them. There's something entertaining about watching a player who's just kind of mastered a game. As I was writing this script, the most watched game on Twitch was Super Castlevania 4.
Wow.
A game that came out almost 30 years ago. Granted, this was because of a Games Done quick stream, but that kind of just further proves our point. There's no way everyone watching that speedrun had actually played Super Castlevania 4, but well over 100,000 people were watching that game.
That's crazy. I just imagine a bunch of 15-year-olds watching this game that this.
These graphics suck.
Why is it so pixely? Why can't he floss? The games that have seen the most persistent success over the years, like the Battle Royales we mentioned, and even League of Legends, tend to be highly repetitive multiplayer games, and a raid-based MMO shooter like Tarkov fits the bill quite perfectly.
Yeah, these types of games are successful because they're really easy to understand the basics of, but they offer something new each time they're played, so it's always kind of stays fresh. You never quite know what you're gonna get, even though you're within that framework, kind of. So as people play them, they kind of like a meta is formed and new strategies and play styles are developed. So depending on how often a developer updates its game, this can keep a game fresh and popular for a long time. Whether or not you like Fortnite, they've done a really incredible job of this.
And before we wrap this up, we should mention that Escape from Tarkov has been in the news for another not so good reason lately. After the game blew up, people found an old interview with the devs talking about why they would never have female playable characters. And
yeah, they listed lore reasons and the cost of, building new character models. A bunch of other people came in and said, yeah, it's not that expensive. We would be remiss to not mention it. So if you were planning on buying the game and that is something that doesn't sit right with you, be aware.
Yes. In our opinion, Escape from Tarkov is not going to be the next Fortnite, no surprise categorized there, but it's definitely well positioned to be a successful streaming game for some time. It has all the right traits to make for a streaming success, and because it's still in beta, it will continue to be covered for a while now.
Yeah, it's probably a little too niche to maintain views like it's had recently, but if big names keep on playing and streaming the game, it could easily maintain a viewer base similar to, something like PUBG. Not exactly dominating the charts, but it maintains a very consistent, dedicated fan base.
Yeah, that about does it for us. If you think this game sounds like something that you might get into, go check it out. But keep in mind, it is still in beta, so the game is still pretty far out from full release. But the devs have promised a lot more content to come. Hopefully, female characters.
I don't know, we'll see, but probably not. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.
Bye.
Pace.
There's no female characters in Inside Gaming lore ever.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Friday.
Friday! Yes! Yes! Yes!
I felt myself fall. I
Really
can't
fun.
feel my legs.
Here we go.
Okay, got it.
Every now and then a game will come along that has a massive impact on the video game industry. Super Mario Bros, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Doom, Minecraft, Dark